it's tremendous to be speaking and to be invited to participate at the first National LGBT History Festival. One of the things that Sue was asked, and I do wherever I travel, is asked to talk to schools. And the first thing that I do normally when I'm addressing students is talk about living history. What an amazing time we are in right now. Just amazing. In fact, it's so amazing that in the US, many LGBT leaders are discussing how current history will be written. So there's a debate going on right now, kind of quietly, although it's leaked out a little bit behind closed doors, from LGBT leaders of who is the Rosa Parks of the LGBT movement? Who has moved the needle on issues like gay marriage? Who has gotten us so far so fast? Now, there's a lot of people who position themselves. There's a lot of books that have come out on the marriage equality movement. I always say the fact of the matter is it's the everyday person who follows my uncle's message of living an open and out life. It is the young kid who's having a kitchen table conversation with their parents. That's to this day, regardless of how accepting an environment we create, is still uncomfortable. It is the ally in a schoolyard playground who stands up against xenophobia when someone from another country and another culture is being attacked. It is the individuals who spend their time and energy working to economically build up a community to make sure that no one is suffering and using the intersectionality of all minority groups, connecting those dots. The LGBT movement did not get here by ourselves, and it was not one person. It is the individuals who live an open life. Now let me just take you, since I got some time, to a pending decision that we have that's record-shattering for us in the States, which is this pending Supreme Court decision. Well, two justices have already said that the defining difference on that Supreme Court is that all of the justices know LGBT people. That was not the case in the 1970s when my uncle was running for office. So in the 1970s, when he was running for office, his message of come out, was really shattering. He was, by the way, historians need to always correct me and correct people who say he was the first openly gay elected official in the United States. He was not. He was certainly the first loud, out, and proud one. We had two before who simply said, yes, I'm gay. There's no reason to talk about it. Harvey talked about it constantly. Harvey was the first person who went to trade unionists and said, let's make a deal. We'll help you, you help us. He was the first person in California that said, let's form a statewide campaign, not just a local campaign. He built coalitions with women, for the very first time with the Asian community in San Francisco. He realized that for us to get progress, when we represent 3–5% of the population, we can't do it unless we connect with other minority groups. So it was with particular pleasure last year when the cover of the Washington Post, when the polls finally changed on marriage equality, and the majority of Americans believed that marriage equality is an important right that should be given, it was from Harvey Milk to 58%. That was the cover, because it was really my uncle's message. Now, for those of you who've seen the movie Milk, it was not Hollywood in terms of that tape-recorded will. My uncle knew that he was going to be killed. He didn't know who, and he didn't know it would be Dan White. Ann Cronenberg, who is his campaign manager, is the co-founder of the Harvey Milk Foundation with me. We keep the actual written death threats that he got. Now you have to realize when he was running for public office, and this is an ancient history, at least I don't think so because I'm still alive, but I was alive then. When he was running for public office, when he began, it was criminal to be gay, and it was considered a severe mental illness by the American Psychological and American Psychiatric Association. And so here's this person talking about, I'm here to recruit you. That was Anita Bryant's line. So those of you who know history, the the great former Miss America and Orange Juice Queen, she said, well, who's recruiting your children? The gays are. So my uncle taught us a great lesson: use their semantics. So his "I'm here to recruit you" is to take away the power of that. So he did begin his speeches: I'm here to recruit you. I'm here to recruit you for justice. I'm here to recruit you for equality. I'm here to recruit you to defend the U.S. Constitution and constitutions all over the world. Very, very important. But those death threats, amazingly, most of them were not anonymous. In fact, we have a written note from the sheriff of Orange County, which is kind of similar to your police chief, that says, Harvey, you step into Orange County, California, my deputies will put bullets into your head. So he didn't know who was going to kill him, and he didn't know when, but he knew it was going to happen. And he actually, to be honest with you, 11 months was more than he thought he was going to get. That's what he had in office, 11 months. We have 2 letters from Harvey, a whole bunch of phone calls, but 2 letters where he thought they would be the last letters to me and my brother. And in those letters, he talked about what his life hopefully means. And so the one thing that the Sean Penn movie, I think, accurately shows is his contemplation and his desire to put himself at risk, to go so far as to not just simply say I'm gay, but to proclaim that it is good, that it is within the framework of humanity, and that we are connected to everyone else that struggled, no less and no greater. And so I'm often asked if I feel bad that my uncle did not get to see a day like today. We're here in Birmingham, in Manchester. My mind is on Alabama, and I'll tell you that. So I apologize. But we're here in Manchester at an LGBT history conference with people like Peter, iconic individuals that you have living history. By the way, take oral histories on all these people. Someone pull Peter aside. Make sure you get an oral history from him. He would not be surprised at where we are. He wouldn't even be surprised at marriage equality. Why do I say that? Because what gave him the strength to go to work every day, to continue doing what he was doing, to go into churches where everyone hated him, and go in and talk to them and try to convince them and try to change their mind, the reason that he would do all these things is because he dreamed of today. He did see today. He dreamed of it, therefore he saw it, therefore there's no regrets.